Hello friends, welcome to Java Swing tutorial. So now you are watching the final part of the JTabbedPane video. So in this video we are going to create the demo application using Eclipse Ide. So we will cover all this. You will learn what is JTabbedPane, how to add tabs, then how to set scroll and wrap layout policy. Then at present here you are seeing the tab at the top and how to set that in the different corner, left, right or bottom. So these are all the slides from previous two videos. Alright, now we will go ahead and create these panels. So we will create a panel for a name, that means person name, then panel for age, then panel for education. After constructing all these three panels, assemble that inside a component or JTabbedPane. Once the JTabbedPane is ready, we can add it to the center part of our frame window. The frame window is using border layout. Then we will create tab setting panel, this one, which we will add in the north portion. Alright, now we will go to the Eclipse demo. So we will open Eclipse Oxygen. The code is available in the description part of this video. That will bring you to the Google Drive or Google Docs. From there you can download the document. So here is our frame, Jframe, derived class Jframe demo. This is the size and position, and after that we are setting a border layout. How to create a Jframe is explained in the very first video of this video series. So in the main entry we create this frame and we make it as visible. So at this stage if I run, so this is the frame window. Now we will add our JTabbedPane instance here. This JTabbedPane is from javax.swing package. So first we will create our tab setting panel. So for that I am creating a new class in the tube.coding examples package. So you can see the package is here. Name I am giving it as tab setting panel. Superclass we need JPanel. You can either type it here or you can search for it. javax.swing package, and from there I am selecting JPanel. So this will be our base class. Rest I am accepting the default. If you see in this tab setting panel, we are going to place our 4 command button, top, bottom, left, right. Then we want to place 2 radio controls. One is to scroll the tab, that means setting the policy, scroll policy or wrap policy. So since these buttons and radio options changes the settings of the JTabbedPane, we need instance of that JTabbedPane in this class. So first we are declaring that. Once again we will export required class. So JTabbedPane is from javax.swing package. We are importing it. Next we create a constructor for this tab setting panel, and the constructor takes JTabbedPane as a parameter. So in the main entry, in the Jframe demo, we already created JTabbedPane, right? So later we will pass this already created instance to this tab setting panel. For now, we will keep a parameter JTabbedPane. Then we will assign that to the internal member tPane. So whatever setting we want to make change, we will apply that on this tPane. So this tab setting panel is a JPanel, right? So we are setting a layout for it. The layout is a flow layout from AWT package. Then we have a method called add control that we will implement now. So create method, add control, and just click on this. This will declare a method for us. So inside this method, we will create all our control, and we will add those control to the panel. So if you see here, first we will import the required controls, J button. So we created 4 J buttons, top, bottom, left, right. After that, we are creating radio buttons, scroll and wrap. Since we want to maintain these two in a single group, we create a button group. So this radio button also already explained in the previous video in the sense in this series we already covered how to use JRadio button using button group. So in that video we talked about how to create a 2 radio group by creating 2 button groups. Here we need only 1 radio group, so we created 1 button group G1. Then we added these to our G1 group. That means you can select either scroll or wrap, or these 2 radio button becomes 1 group, and user can select either scroll or wrap since it falls under 1 group G1. Then we are setting a default, so wrap style, so that's the default we want to set. So we select the wrap radio button by default, but that means when the frame is displayed, this will be in selected state. Alright, next we added all this control to our panel. Now our tab panel with the controls are ready. So yeah, we can ignore this warning, or if you want you can put a suppress warning stuff here. We don't want getter and setter. Okay, so our tab setting is ready. Now we will go here and we will create that tab setting panel. You see here, tab setting panel, this instance we are creating it, and we are passing our tabbed pane to this tab setting panel. Now our tab setting panel with all the buttons are ready. Also it contains a reference to our tabbed pane, which is hosted by this Jframe control or the top level window. Next, we are adding this tab panel to the content pane of our frame window. Since it is using border layout, we are keeping this in the north location. Now let's run this once, and you can see the top portion of our frame window is ready. Maybe we have to increase the width. We will try that here. Alright, this is ready now. Next, we need to create a name panel. So I'm choosing new class. Class name is a name panel, and this will be from JPanel. So this is also a panel. For this name panel, first we create a constructor. Add control, we will create a method. So far we used some layouts, flow layout, border layout, grid bag layout, all those layout while we are using the container. So this time we are setting the layout as null. That means we take the responsibility of deciding the size as well as position of the control. Now we will see how to position the control. So we call this as absolute positioning. That means that there is no layout manager. We decide the size and position of the control. If you see here in the add control, first we create 3 J labels: first name, middle name, last name. And you can see here this is a J panel. Actually we are creating the first tab here. At this moment it is J panel. First name, middle name, last name, these are all the 2 labels. Then if you see, we are setting the size and position. Let me show the parameters. So we are using the second type of overload. Int x and y, 10, 10. So this decides the position from top left corner of the frame window where we want to position the label 1. Then we specify the width. After that we specify the height. Same goes for other label also. If you see here, this x position, we are keeping it as 10, 10, 10. This will be x direction, and this will be the y direction. And if you see 10, 10 in the sense in x, let's say this is the location 10. So for all control, we specify this same location 10. So let me put a red mark here. So that's the x. From here you can measure from anywhere, that's x. But y, if you see, we are changing it 50, 90. This is y, right? Let's state that this is a 50. Okay, this is 10, 50 and 90. And if you see, our control will be positioned like this. So this is the position we are giving, top left, x and y coordinate. The size may be different, but this is how we are specifying the x and y location. So we specified the corner, then we need to decide the size and position, right? That's where. So if you see, width is same and height also same. We just changed the position, y position. The x position is same, this red mark, and y position, if you see, it got changed in y direction, 0.1, 0.2 and 0.3. And the size, it is same. So if this is our button size, the size will be same. So this is how we placed our label control. The same holds for other also. So now you may got an idea of what is absolute positioning. If you see here, this is our Jframe, right? Jframe in main entry. Okay, yeah, here it is. Jframe, if you see, this is a top level window, but still we use absolute positioning. Why? Because the parent for this Jframe is our desktop window. Desktop window in the sense, this window, the top level window or desktop window. So in desktop window, where we want to position our frame, 100, 100. That means this is the top left corner, 100, 100. So we are doing the absolute positioning for our frame window. If you see 100, 100, then we are specifying width and height. The same goes here for our name panel. Whatever we did for our frame window, now we are doing the same for our label control. So once absolute positioning is decided, we add all labels to our JPanel. After this, friends, if you see, we create JText fields and we do the same stuff, set bounds. We are doing absolute positioning. After that, we are adding this control text 1, text 2 and text 3. So by directly looking at this, it will be somewhat hard to understand. So you need a paper and pen, and based on that you can easily see what we are setting. So one is the X and Y position, then width and height. So with a paper and pencil, you can easily decide the control placement as well as its size. So just like how we did in the paintbrush, you can do your designing in the paper. Then you can use the set bounds method to position your control. Alright, now our name panel is ready. So for testing purpose, we can add this name panel to our Jframe. This is our Jframe, right? Here, anyhow, we will remove this code. We just want to see how our name panel looks. At this stage, if you see here, we are creating name panel. At this stage, if I run this, you can see the position of the name panel. It's positioned here. This is how it appears. Now we are not using this in tabbed pane. We are just added this to the center portion of our frame window. Alright, now we will go ahead and create the next panels. We are creating new class. This is for edge panel. Here is the constructor for edge panel. The same way we are adding a add control method. So in the add control method, if you see, we are creating a combo box. So in the combo box, one is for age and another one is for sex. So we create two combo box, age and sex. These two are labeled. For sex, we are using a checkbox to state male or female. For now, for this example, we just consider these two gender. Then we are creating a combo box. This combo box is for age. So we run a loop here and we populate the age. After that, we use a setBounds method. Then we add these controls to the JPanel. So you can refer the code in the description of the video. Our edge panel is ready, and if you want to see how it looks, we're just changing this. So this is how our edge panel looks, and there are edge from 0 to 151, and you can select male or female. Next, we create our final panel. For that, we are choosing a new class under the tube coding examples. Name, we are giving it as edu panel, and as usual, it's derived from JPanel. As usual, we create a constructor for our new class. Then we add this method, and grid layout, we are importing it from AWT package. This time, if you see, we are not using absolute layout. For edge panel as well as name panel, we used absolute layout by using the set layout as null. Now this time here we are using the grid layout. Here are the controls. First we create JLabels, education, work, and these are all fillers. Fillers means we are using grid layout, right? So the empty slot we want to fill with these empty string labels. Then we have a JText field. After that, we create 3 checkboxes. Then we are adding these controls to the grid, and you can see how we are using the filler also. At this stage, let me display this edu panel. So here is the appearance. If you see the empty checkboxes, so this is a grid. I can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, 2 columns. You can see here 5 rows, 2 columns. The filler, whatever filler we are creating here, we use this filler. One filler is used here, and the other 2, 3 fillers are used here. So this is a grid. You can imagine this as a grid, and in that grid we don't want to use this empty, don't want to use this cells. That's why we are displaying a JLabel with the empty string in it. Similarly, these are all the fillers. So education and then work, user can select any of these 3. All right, so our design portion is over. Now we will go back to our frame window. So in the frame Jframe swing frame, we already created a tab setting panel and added that, and we created 3 panels and we tested that how it looks. Now we will create all these 3 panels, then use add tab method to add all these 3 panels. So after adding this, since we already set wrap as the policy, remember, so in the settings panel, if you see, we selected this wrap style by default. So here, for the same reason, we are setting the tab layout policy as JTabbedPane dot wrap underscore tab underscore layout. So The same way we can set a scroll layout also, but by this time, since it's the loading time, right? During this time, we are setting the wrap tab layout. So for the Jframe window, we already added our tab setting panel. Now we will add our tab also. At this stage, if I run this, you can see the appearance of tab. Tab 1, 2, 3, all tabs are visible. Now I can switch between these tabs. So user can go to the relative tab and start entering the data for the person. All right. Now we will go ahead and implement these settings. So this is our tab setting panel, and we will pick btn tab. Btn top dot set add action listener. So here I'm typing the new. After that, pressing the control space, it asks for anonymous inner type. So anonymous inner class for one button is ready. So this will be our event handler. Likewise, we have to create other event handlers also. So for this button, if you see here, we are making call to our tpan, that means JTabbedPane. Then we are making call to set tab placement. And for set tab placement method, we are passing JTabbedPane.top. So this is the constant we are passing. There are other constants as well. If you see top, bottom, left, right, all the stuff you can use. The same way, we added other 4 listeners as other 3 listeners for the buttons bottom, left, and right. All right, at this stage we can check this setting. So by default these tabs are in the top right. Now I'm clicking bottom. You can see the tab appearing in the bottom. Left, the tabs are arranged in the left side. Right, it will be arranged in the right side. All right. So just like how we added the anonymous inner class for the button, we can do the same stuff for radio button also. So all you have to do is type the radio button name, add item listener, open bracket, type the new keyword, space, then press control space. So it will ask you to choose item listener. Once you double click on that pop-up, the skeleton will be ready. After that, we will be placing the code. If you see rad tab wrap, that means a radio button for wrap. If it is in selected state, then we are changing our default in the sense during the form load we set wrap tab layout, right? Now we are once again checking whether it is in selected state, then we set wrap tab layout. Otherwise, if a scroll radio button is selected, we check the selected state of the radio button using the selected state. After that, using the set tab layout policy, we change the layout policy from wrap to scroll. Alright, now we will import the item listener. So to see this wrap and scroll, for example, if you see Now all three tabs are accommodated here. Yeah, but this doesn't look nice. Let's add some piece of code. Okay, that 3 tab, we can able to accommodate this tab with this width. So if I resize it, you can see the wrap style. The person name is in the bottom and person age and education is coming in the top. And now if I use the scroll, and you can see a scroll bar here. So if you want to experiment it further, we will go to our Jframe demo, and this is where we are adding the tab. Right now we will use a for loop to add some random panel. So these panels display nothing but tab name. We are giving it as a tab. Then from the index, loop index, we are forming the tab name. So this means we are creating 9 more tabs here. Let's see. And you can see when it is wrap style, person name, age 3, age, education, then tab 1, tab 2, and you can see how the tabs are placed in the 2 different rows. And if we choose scroll style, we will get a arrow key, so you can scroll through this tab. So if you add more, you can see how the wrap is behaving when the tabs are placed in the left portion, left or right portion. Bottom portion, you can still see the wrap and scroll effect. For left and right, we have to add even more tabs. Let me put 19. So there you can see left. If you see wrap style, means it's coming in 2. Scroll, we will get a scroll bar like this. All right. Now you got an idea of how to use JTabbedPane. It may be a bit lengthy. Source code, you can take it from the attachment. I mean attachment in the sense, in the video description we provided a link for the code snippet. So you can either type your code or you can perform a copy paste from the drive location. You can download the file, and the context menu won't work in the Google Drive. You can use Ctrl+C and Ctrl+V if you want to do copy paste. That's all here. Thank you for watching. Bye.